Before you buy your first curriculum or set up that perfect homeschool mom room, there's something way more important that 95% of new homeschool moms completely overlook. And it's the difference between thriving in your homeschool journey and burning out before you even really begin. I'm talking to Aliese today. She's a Christian mom entrepreneur with little kiddos at home who isn't even officially homeschooling yet. But she's already discovered the crucial missing piece that most moms don't figure out until year 3 or 4 when they already are feeling overwhelmed. If you feel the pressure to get everything perfect before you start, or you're running from the school system instead of running to something better, this conversation will completely shift how you think of your homeschool journey. I want you to stay to the end because Aliese shares the exact mindset shift from my book, Overwhelmed, that gave her the confidence before she even began. Here's what new homeschool moms overlook. And it's not what you think. Now I get to welcome one of our lovely guests to the stage. This is Aliese Halcomb. Pop up here with me. Aliese
Hi.
Halcomb, and she is just at the beginning stages of this homeschool thing. And I know for many moms listening, reading the book, this is going to be a brand new experience for them too. And so I wanted to have Aliese on to share some of her story about what she's going through right now actively as a homeschool mom. So, Aliese, would you please introduce yourselves to everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Aliese, and I have one son. He is almost 3, so we're not really in the homeschooling world yet, but it is our intention and our plan. And so I have been very grateful. I got the book. Here it is. And I love. I really appreciated it because honestly, I'm not there yet, right? So I haven't had to go through all of these struggles. But even before I started, right now, I'm talking to other moms who are in my world who also have not started, and there's a lot of stress that has been put on us for some. No one put it on us. We did that ourselves, right? And so, but like we all have like 3 and 4 year olds, and we're like, why are we freaking out? Like nothing is. It's okay. It's okay. And so, being able to read through this and just like kind of just understand like we're not alone, like this is a normal thing, and we get to create the vision of our homeschool life, and we get to see homeschool is such an interesting thing because we get to really decide what the most important things are, and so like having that vision cast before we even really start. It'll still be really hard. I'm not, I'm very sure of that, but I am grateful that I'm able to read this before I actually started.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So first, tell us a little bit about why you are deciding to choose homeschooling.
Yeah, absolutely. So at first it was running away, right? Like it was running away from a lot of stuff that is in public school that you hear all about. And I learned everything bad that I learned was from homeschool, or not homeschool, from public school, right? And so, and I don't remember any of it, and nothing that I was taught in school do I remember. So, like, that's just not the way people learn, like you were talking about earlier. It's just not the way. And the more I learned about how public school was created, the less and less I thought this was a good idea. So I was just like, nah, I don't think so. And so, but as I started learning more about it, about homeschooling, I realized it's less about running away and more about running to something, right? So instead of letting our kids leave for 8, 10 hours a day, depending on how far away the school is, and if they're on the bus or whatever, we get to decide like what we're doing in our days, and we get all this time. Like school doesn't need to take 8 hours. Like no 6-year-old needs to sit in a class for 6 or 7 hours and learn stuff that they're not going to remember, right? Like there's not capable. So I'm just, now it's running to all of this extra time that we get to keep.
Yeah. And I think that's such a good point. I'd love to hear from the moms in the chat because that is such a perspective shift. A lot of people either leave or never enter the public school system because they're running away from something. But that is why, very specifically at the beginning of Overwhelmed, I start with vision. And so I'd love to hear from the moms in the chat. what are you running towards? Right? There's a lot of really good reasons to exit the public school system, but what are you running towards? And my editor for the book, amazing editor, Jenny, oh gosh, I'd have to look. I can't remember the exact spelling of her last name, but Jenny was like, oh, I think you should start with this chapter. And I said, listen, this is actually, she's also a homeschool mom. I said, I think too many of us, just like you're saying, Aliese, are running from something, and that doesn't give us a direction. We need a direction. And so starting with vision, again, I'd love to hear from the moms that are live with us. What are you running towards? Like Aliese mentioned, more time with your kiddos, right? A lot of things. I've always been about establishing a deep connection with my kids. And I mean, based on my experience, like we got to travel and got to go do really fun things. And so on occasion, we'll go to Disneyland when all the other kids are in school, or we'll like, hey, the beach is nice. Let's just go to the beach for today. And we really get to create these memories that I remember as a kid, creating these core memories of travel and enjoying each other. And that's what I really wanted for my children. And so I think that's a really, really good point there. And then I'm curious, right? You were talking about exiting the public school system. I'm curious what, moving away from a traditional model, have you read anything about what our traditional school models are based on?
Are you asking
you?
me?
Yes, you.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
You're asking the chat. Yes.
Sorry.
So nothing specific have I I haven't read like a book about it, but I've listened to some podcasts that are about homeschooling and about the history of public school and how it started to like train people to work in factories, and like it never changed. And so it's like, we don't work in factories anymore. We don't need to be, like listening for the bell, you know what I mean? Like, and like switching classes and doing this thing. And they're just trying to teach. It was created to create factory workers who do not need to know a lot of things. And we never updated it once that wasn't where we were at. So it just isn't, maybe it was okay for some point. I don't know if it was okay then, but it's not okay now. So I'm not interested in that. And so
yeah, no, I love that. I love that you're bringing that up, because it was brought up by John D. Rockefeller, and he wanted factory workers. And so there is not a creative process involved in being a factory worker. And if we really want to raise up thinkers and creators and innovators, then we need to raise them differently. I want to make a suggestion for everybody. If you haven't read John Taylor Gatto's Dumbing Us Down, this is a good book to start with. I read a couple chapters out loud to my older kids, and they were like starting to get it. But I will say, I'm not very like philosophical. Like deep philosophical discussions drain me. They don't drain everybody. So I felt like this, because he has some pretty thick books, I felt like this was digestible enough for me. And as you can see, I've got like lots of little dog ears on here. This is a great book. Oh, lots of moms are saying, yes, this book's on my list. Great book by Gatto. So if you haven't read it, it's easily digestible. And I really recommend starting there, because it is a very powerful book. So let's see. I want to see what some of the moms were saying in the chat about what they're running towards. Let's see. Valerie, I'm running towards a strong relationship and a love of learning. Yes, right? Yes, we want our kids to love learning. Kalan said individuality. Amber, running towards connection and joy in learning in our homeschool. I love it. Bethany, I really want my kid to have a childhood. Oh my goodness. Yep. I feel like kids in public school are forced to grow up so fast, but they're only a child once. Yes. And that is something I can say for sure as a former homeschooled kid. That made the biggest difference for me. I had a real childhood. And I think way more now than from our generation, way more now that's being robbed with smartphones and different things like, Instagram and TikTok, and the absorption that and the fascination that kids have with smartphones and YouTube and all that jazz. So I really think that even more so now, it's more difficult for children to have a childhood, and homeschooling really does provide that. So I know, Aliese, you have something to be right at the top of the hour. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you do, because you're a businesswoman looking to homeschool. Lots of entrepreneurs are. Tell us a little bit more about what you do and where moms can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I help Christian mompreneurs who have young children and want to start a business or already are in the beginning stages of starting a business, and they just feel overwhelmed with doing both, right? So you have this little person to keep alive and you have this business to keep alive, and where do you find the time, right? So that is where we come in and we look through your life and how you're living, and we do an inventory on it, and we create a schedule that actually works, and we get rid of some stuff that you don't need to be doing because you can't do it all. You can do it all, but you can't do it at the same time. So, so you can find me at my website. It's just aliesehalcomb.com, and it's under construction, but I will be there. So,
Awesome. Well, like if they wanted to, where can we follow you, Aliese?
So I'm not really active on social media. That's something I've basically gotten rid of because it's not been good for, my time. But
Yeah.
I do have a podcast. It's called The Peaceful Mompreneur, and
Okay.
you can find me there.
Okay. Can you drop that link in the chat, Peaceful Mompreneur, so we can
Yes.
listen if we want, if we are a Christian mom entrepreneur with younger kiddos, because man, at my stage, I know I've got a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old, 8-year-old and 5-year-old. I can delegate a lot. Like lunch today, the 12-year-old's going to be doing it, but you don't have that. It's an entirely different dynamic.
Yes, it is. It's definitely different. Yeah. Yeah. He can feed the dogs, but he does a good job. But that's
So cute. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
Alrighty. Awesome. So please pop that in the chat. And if you are a young Christian mom entrepreneur with littles and needing help with your managing your time, Aliese is your gal. Let's see here. Can you get it in the chat?
I'm not sure. Connect to comment. I don't know what I'm doing over here.
That's okay.
That's okay. Maybe I did it. I don't know.
Okay. Wait, no. Let's see.
Nope.
Oh, let's see here. Private. Oh, can you put it in the private?
I did put it in the private one. I can't get it in the comments. Okay. I don't know what's going on.
Here we go. Let me give it a try.
Okay. Who knows?
There we go. All right. Well, this is the podcast. And if you want to check it out, are you on Apple and Spotify?
Yep. I'm everywhere. All the places.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me, Aliese.
Yeah.